Assalamu alaikum. Today in this video we will discuss some more respiratory diseases. Among other diseases, the number one is the atelectasis. It is a disease in which the collapse of the alveoli occur, and the most common causes are total obstruction of the airway and the lack of surfactant in the fluids lining of the alveoli. The obstruction is maybe due to any blockage caused by mucus or any other mucus plug or object such as tumor, so that it obstructs the airway and the respiratory process become difficult. The second cause is the lack of surfactant. I have already discussed the importance of the surfactant. It is a very important chemical substance because of which alveoli remains patent, and in case of its deficiency the alveoli collapsed. If this deficiency of the surfactant occur in newborn, the name of the disease is the respiratory distress syndrome, and I have discussed this disease regarding the newborn diseases previously in much more detail with its complete treatment. If this lack of surfactant occurs in the adult, the disease is named as atelectasis. You can see through this picture the defective left lung in which the process of the atelectasis takes place, and compare it with the healthy side on the right side. So there is a gross change in the size of the lung. The lung become shrinkage. Due to the lack of the surfactant, the main cause is the main defect is the lung collapse, so that the alveoli cannot remains patent. Through this picture, you can see what is the defect regarding the oxygen saturation of the blood. On the healthy side, we have the saturation 97% as compared to the disease side, that is the left side, as the size is very much changed, so the saturated venous blood that contains the 60% of the saturation. In the main vessel coming or taking the blood supply from both of the lungs, that has a mixture of the two lungs blood supply. 97% from the healthy side, while the 60% from the disease side. But one more thing is that from the healthy side we are getting the 5/6 of the blood in the main aorta, in the main vessel coming from both of the lungs. So what happens? Because of the shrinkage of the size of the lung, we are getting just the one part of out of 6 from the disease part. So the net result is the 5/6 having the 97% of the saturation, while 1/6 that is with the 60% saturation, making the systemic circulation saturation 91%. So this is all about the atelectasis, saturation of the oxygen in the main blood supply. Coming to the next disease, that is the asthma. Basically it is an allergic reaction. We can say the hypersensitivity occur in this disease. With that, the spastic contraction of the smooth muscle take place. It is mainly of two types. allergic and non-allergic. Allergic type of the asthma occur mostly in youngers as compared to the non-allergic type of the reaction of the asthma that occurs in olders. What happens? There is excessive production of IgE which react with the allergen so that the allergic reaction take place. The reaction starts from the entry of the irritant substance or allergen to the airway pathway. The IgE mostly they are attached to the mast cells which are present in the lung interstitium. When the irritant substance come into contact with them, antigen antibody reaction take place, or we can say the allergic reaction take place, so that the histamine and all other type of the chemical substances they are released locally, so that altogether they create localized edema with excessive mucus and the smooth muscle spasm. All these findings together make the airway resistance much more increased, so that the functional residual capacity and the residual volume they excessively increase. With the years of the disease, the shape of the chest that changes to the barrel shape. This is the animation to show how the changes occur. The smooth muscle spasms occur with the excessive production of the mucus, so that outside the edema develop and the internal hole that decreases too much. You can see again these changes. Edematous outside and internal hole that decreases too much. And also excessive cough. Regarding the clinical measurements, there is greatly reduced maximum expiratory rate, reduced time expiratory volume, there is dyspnea or air hunger because the patient cannot expire properly, increase functional residual capacity and increase residual volume. Again, because of the dyspnea and air hunger, because the patient cannot expire properly, so that the excessive air that is accumulated in the lung increasing the residual volume, and with the time the shape of the chest that become barrel shape. This is the animation to show there is difficulty in the exhaling the air or the expiration, and these are the findings. All these diseases they belong to one group, that are the chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, in which there is obstruction which is causing the respiratory process more difficult, especially the expiratory process. For the treatment, the steroids they are given, which are inhaled. This is the instrument, small instrument or inhaler, and the patient is using through the mouth, so that this you can see the drug is going inside to the lungs. More sophisticated, that is the medication inhaled and opening of the airway pathway that is there. You can see bronchospasm and inflammation, all these they become corrected with the medication, and the internal hole that is better than previous. Now coming to the next disease, that is the tuberculosis. Basically it is a disease caused by a specific bacterial infection bacteria, that is the tubercular bacilli. Because of this infection caused by a specific bacteria, there is invasion of the infected tissue by the macrophages and walling off of the lesion by the fibrous tissue to form the so-called tubercle or granuloma. I will show you all these things with the diagram. This is the picture of the specific bacteria causing the tuberculosis, and this is the granuloma or the tubercles. You can see the internalmost, that is the mycobacteria, surrounded by lymphocytes, macrophages, and wall off by the fibroblasts. The advantage of this one, that the disease process is limited to this site. Now this whole is called granuloma or the tubercle of the specific tuberculosis disease collectively. So I was telling you the advantage of this thing, that it limits the disease process, but with the years that breakdown and there is vastly spread disease of the tuberculosis to all of the area of the lung, so that it can involve the whole of the lung. It is an airborne disease, and through the sneezing or coughing it can be transmitted to the second or the other person also. Many of the fibrosis throughout the lungs reduce the total amount of the functional lung tissue, and we can have the reduced vital capacity, reduced total respiratory membrane surface area, and increased thickness of the respiratory membrane, and also the abnormal ventilation perfusion ratio. The next condition, it is not a specific disease condition, but it is just a sign. It may occur in many diseases. That is, the name is cyanosis, bluish coloration of the skin, and the cause is excessive amounts of deoxygenated hemoglobin in the skin blood vessels, especially in the capillaries. But the cause of this, that is, a number of diseases can have this sign. That it is just a sign, not a disease. What is the difference? Just it has the bluish coloration of the skin, and the underlying cause may be hundreds of the diseases. As you can have the pallor in anemia and in many other diseases, that is the pale color of the skin, as compared to the cyanosis, which is the bluish coloration of the skin. We have the sites for the cyanosis, that are the areas of the skin, thin skin, through which the bluish coloration is mostly visible. These sites are under surface of the tongue, lips, ear lobes, nail beds, tip of the nose. We can divide the cyanosis into two main categories, central and peripheral. Obviously, as its name shows, central involve the causes which are going to affect the systemic circulation, so that on the whole, in whole of the body, there is cyanosis. While in the peripheral, only the specific cause is there, and the peripheral parts of the body that are mostly affected. So it has the main cause hypoxic hypoxia, and the features will be extremities are warm and blue. This is the difference between the central and the peripheral, in which the extremities are cold and blue. This word, that is the stagnant hypoxia and hypoxic hypoxia, that will be studied in the next video while discussing the hypoxia and its types. So I will discuss all these in more detail in the next video. This just simple cyanosis can lead to the cause of the death, can lead to the death of the patient. At high levels of PCO2, the excess carbon dioxide begins to depress the respiratory center rather to stimulate it. So more carbon dioxide is there, further decrease in respiration, and this cycle is repeated again and again, ending to the respiratory death. Raynaud's disease, which is not present in your textbook, but I am going to describe it here because in this disease we can have the cyanosis also, and this is a disease which may be asked in the viva. So many examiners they found out to ask the Raynaud's disease also while discussing or while asking the other respiratory disease and the cyanosis. This is a disease it causes some areas of the body such as fingers or toes to feel numb and cold in response to cold temperature or stress. The main thing that is the overreaction to the cold temperature with the vasospasm, cold fingers or toes, color changes in skin in response to cold or stress, numb and prickly feeling or stinging pain upon warming or stress relief. But the most important thing that the color of the skin first turn white, then often turn blue. You can see it with this picture in which the white due to inadequate blood flow and bluish coloration as the oxygen depleted in the tissues. So this is a very typical picture of the Raynaud disease. You can find the skin whitish and also the bluish at the same time. So this is the Raynaud's disease. Main causes is the overreaction to the cold temperature stress with the vasospasm of the blood vessels. This is another very nice picture. Regarding the treatment, depends on its severity and whether you have other health conditions. Dressing for the cold inner layers and also reduce the number and severity of the attacks. Prevent the tissue damage to the underlying disease or the condition which is going to produce these symptoms. Now the next topic, that is the artificial respiration. We have a number of methods for the artificial respiration, which includes the mouth-to-mouth breathing, CPR, and I hope up till now you have completed the CPR in your laboratory practicals. And we can have the tank respirator and iron lung also. Now I am going to discuss these one by one. This is the CPR, in which regular stress is provided over the chest. The pressure develop in a very sequential manner so that the patient may start the inspiration and expiration. And not only the chest wall, but the heart is also going to be pumped through this very specific arrangement of the two hands. I hope the further detail will be you have already discussed in your practical. This is the mouth-to-mouth breathing, placing the patient in a very specific position, and also in the B picture the facilitator is going to check whether he is respirating or not, the respiratory process develops or not. So this is the mouth-to-mouth breathing. In this specific type of the artificial breathing, the oxygen cylinder is connected to the patient through this mask which fits over the mouth and the nose, and over that we have this specific regulator through which and the specific knob through which we can manage the oxygen supply. We can control that one if the patient needs more or less. This is the iron tank in which the patient on the hole that is placed, and in this tank the specific positive pressure is built up so that which is going to press the whole of the body, and then we remove that pressure so that the chest is moving as it moves in the respiratory process, but this is the artificial breathing. This tank has a very important disadvantage also, as it is going to supply the pressure over whole of the body so that it may affect the venous return also, in which there will be cardiac output will also be defective or affected by this iron tank. So this is all about the artificial respiration. If God forbid it fails, then we can have this condition, that is life after life, in which this life ends with the beginning of the next life. So with this I complete today's lecture. Inshallah, in the next video we will discuss the hypoxia. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.